Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we will going to continue our series on Python Tinker projects. As project name today has been the student course enrollment. So for that, if you guys doesn't see my other tutorials on Python, then you can check out them. So let's go to our next part, which is seeing the which models we have important right here. As you can see right here, this video has been pre-recorded as its own voice previous time was removed out of some error, so I had been recording it. So you can check out, I had been using the GUI. Right here you can see the student, their courses with the course ID, name, instructor, and then the student ID and course ID, enrollment, and deleted its entry that you can see, and then the showing the status and backup option for the safety of ourselves, and then the students per course chart, which we will done through the Matplotlib library. Okay, so this is go to our next part, which is how we have using the and which model we have actually used right there. As you can see, I have using the SQLite for the easy data management system setuping, and then the Tkinter all modules, then the Treeview, and then the message box for it, and then the date time, CV, open source, and then Slint for the backupping, and then the Matplotlib library as you have seen before for the chart. Okay, so we have came to our next part, which is how we have defined our database. For the database, I have using the cons equal to SQLite3 dot connect with the database name as that you can see student course DB, and then we have created a cursor as cursor is equal to con cursor, and then we have created the three tables inside that. We have added an if not exist part in the SQL query, as if the user or if it is not created, then it can create on their own while rerunning it. Students has the student ID, name, age, and department. Course has the course ID, course name, and instructor, and then the enrollment has the student ID, course ID, and then the date enrollment that you can see. Okay, through the SQL IDs. Okay, and you can check out, it has been working like that. I had been explaining it right there, so let me just tell you how its own next function was actually behaving in reality, which is the helper functions. For that we have added a dev refresh student search item for row in student tree get child, and then we will going to delete all of the rows which had been accidentally came for the refreshment of the data on that particular tab. Then we will going to use, if search is used, and then it will going to search that it's SQL query that you can see right there, and then the else for the normal part, which will going to fetch out the select and the rate from all of the entries from the students. Okay, and then at last you can see out I have imported all of its data with the help of for loop right here, and fetch all of its data, and that student tree insert and values by their variables had been injected right there. Okay, so for let's go to our student functions. As you can see right here, I have created a basic function which is known as a clear student fields, which will going to set the student ID to null, then student name, student age and student department to null value, means empty right there, for the resetting it for the further user help. And then for the adding student, it will going to ask, we have error statement right there, as it had been using the student ID is needed or and the student name is needed. If either of that is not given by the particular person, then it will going to show an error through a message box dot show error, that you can check here error student ID and name is not required. Okay, and then we have the cursor insert into student values, as it will going to take the all of its values from that we have defined, and then fetch the all of its ID that you can see right here, where I had been moving the cursors variables, and then it will going to commit it, and then that two function we have written before, refresh student and clear student field, will be called, as it will reset all of its entries and its entry format part form filling will be resetted out. And then we have go to the showing the success message that you can see by using a show info from the message box, and then we have enter an SQLite integrating error, which will going to work on the basically the student ID, which we have actually, that if you have seen in the on database table, we have implied every ID as the primary key, so it must not be repeated. Okay, if repeated, then it, for that we have added in this error. And for the updation, you can see I have created a select tree focus part. If the particular user doesn't select it, then it will go in and show an error, select student to update. Then we will going to execute an SQL command, update student, set their name, age, department, where the student ID is there, by fetching all of its data that we have taken from the its own entry form. Okay, then it will going to commit it out, and then with the help of, then we will going to use the two functions again, refresh students and then the clear student fields, and success message then will be shown, that you can see I have been showing my own cursor as right there. Okay, that, and then we go to our delete student part. As you can see, update and delete part has been similar. It has been asking us to do the similar stuff, but it has in some different way. Like you can see the values, it has been going to use the student tree and select all of its values, and then it will going to check out the first 0 entry index as the student ID that you have seen I have written, and it will, then we have using a if else part. If the message box going to ask if yes or no, confirm delete. If the user has confirmed it, then it will going to delete that particular part, that you can see confirm delete and delete student with the ID that we have fetched it out, and then it will going to just delete the all of its data where the student and enrollment part of that particular person has been there. Okay, person has been there, set it out, and it will going to commit, and then it will, we will again going to call the basic function that we have defined for them, and it will going to also refresh the enrollment parts. And then we have created a main, if user want to delete all of his data from the student section, then he or she get an ask yes no message, and if he or she has agreed, then it will going to just executing the SQL command, delete from students and delete from enrollments, and then committing them, then refresh student and enrollment refresh part will function will be called out, and then its own success message will be shown. And for the student selection part, that you can see I have included an event right there, and we have used the if selected, then wells of that particular tree will be selected out, and then all of its values that we have set it will be recorded like taken. Okay, so let's go to our next part, which is the GUI. We have first of all defined the basic GUI index, like you can see, and you can just literally copy it out, as it is no that much need for the reference. It is just in a style configuration and Treeview on the part that you can just copy paste it. Okay, then we have using a Tkinter Treeview model for the notebook, which will going to create an basically an tabs that you have seen in the start of the video, as the both side will student courses, and we have packed it on the fill on the both side and expanded by true and pad x and pad y as 10, and that you can see we have defined the student tab frame in the notebook with the color as that you can see in the gray, and we have added particular tab with the text as students, and right there we have defined on buttons. First of all, we have defined the delete dot button. We have used the button in the we have defined its tab, which we have used selected, then we have given its text, and then we have defined its function, and then its color we have defined as red, that you can see right there. Okay, if you have any desire to change it, then you can change it out. Okay, and then we have positioned it by using the grid method by an array rows equal to 0 and column is equal to 2, and pad x is equal to 5 and pad y is equal to 5. And then you can see I have defined right there the sum of the student ID, student name, and student age and student department, that you had been thinking why I have doesn't included them above, as it will be more less needed. So I have defined them with the GUI part. Right there you can see I have defined all of its value with the string where, and then we have defined the for looping part, which will be the written in a Treeview format, as it has been going to use in a student ID, then student name, student age, and then student department, which will be have the student ID that you can see, and then the name, and then the particularly its own and then we have written it's in a for loop like label and variable that we have selected. You can see the we have defined the label and its entry right there, and then the tab of it, then text and text variable, and its own positioning that you can see I have done with the for loop. Right here you can see I have used the 4 index, so it will be goes to the 3 number as index start from the 0. Okay, and similarly for the buttons frames we have written its text and its command that you can see in the format. Similar, like we have defined the label and entries, and you can see all of its fonts, and the student ID has student tree as this, in the Treeview format in the student tab, and then the columns as ID, name, age, department, and they will become in the headings way. And then that you can see I have been highlighting it. So entry, and then we have written a for loop for giving an all of its entry in that particular ID, name, age, and department format. It that you can see we have written in a for loop from the student tree, and it will be just fetch out all of its data and then bind it on the that particular format. Okay, so let's see how it is be actually working. So for example, we will going to write a particular nonsense ID for the testing that you can see I have been writing also right now. That you can see we write it out, and then this. Okay, right here let me just add that particular result, and you can see its own success message has came there. Okay, then for the updation part, let's just see how it will going to actually work. Like 12 it has been before, then we have changed it to 15, and we have added right there the lines E, and then name has also been, we will going to change it out to something like that, and then update it out, and then you can see I have just done it. Okay, and its data has been shown right there, and you can see if I will going to not select that particular entry, then delete and update will going to select this error. And right here I have been adding a nonsense ID for the particular showing the how delete all function will actually work. Okay, right here I have added the particular result, and let me show you how the delete function is. It has been showing the confirmation, the particular ID, and then student 12 has been removed, and it has been right there the particular data. If then delete all student records, it has been asking me. Okay, if I will going to say the yes, then it will going to work like that. Right here, yes, all of its data has been removed, and that we will going to add a particular data for showing the statistics how it will going to work till the end of the video. Okay, so you can see right here I have closed the database, and it has GUI, and it has shown how it has been actually been creating a backup database that you will see. Okay, so we have came to our, we will go to our course part, which is you can see I will going to cover the refresh course and refresh enrollment part. Okay, for that, for the course part, it is almost similar like the student part, which that you can see it has just lesser entries, like it has only the name and its ID right there, and then you can check out I have added in a similar way for loop, then this and this again a similar way like we have done with the students part, and then the only part which is different is the refresh enrollment because it has the join parts. Okay, so after this has been done, then we will going to execute an SQL command as select dot from the enrollment student ID, student name, enrollment course ID, course name, and then enrollment date enrolled, and then you can see I have how defined it from enrollment as E, and the students as on enrollment id, student id is equal to as student id, and similar way with the course, and then we will going to fetch all its entry right there and so in the tree format. Okay, that you can see out I have go to the courses part right here, which has the similar way like we had defined the clear fields for the student. It has been doing the course id and then this for it, and then the add course is similar like that. It will going to ask user to enter the particularly name and its own id, and then it will going to ask the particular person as course dot execute. It will going to insert into courses values as that you can see the course id, course name, and instructor get, and right here. Okay, it has been coming right there. And then we will going to recall the function as this is the refresh and clear course fields, and message box will going to show in a particular success message, and if the error is came in the id, then you can see that has been done. Okay, and the similar way the the update course selected is equal to course tree focus, and if not selected it will going to show in a particular error as selected. If everything is fine, that you can see it will going to just going to pass out the particular executing the SQL query as that you can see update courses set course name instructor where the course id is has been specified, that you can see. Okay, and then it will going to commit that particular thing and refresh courses, and then its course field will be removed and its success message will be shown right there. And similar way with the particularly course part, which has been going to the selecting the value, then the deletion of the part will be the similar like the code as a student, and the delete all will be like similar way, just the database has been deleted according to need. Okay, and you can see the courses, if the courses all of the are deleted, then it is the sensible that we have to delete the all of the courses table and then the enrollment parts. Okay, and that you can see, and it has been removed it out. Okay, and similar way we have defined the selection event function, and which will be going to select all of its data. And then we goes to the next part, which is the enrollments. It has been two function as the enroll student, which will going to fetch the id as the student id and then the course id that you can see from the variables, and then it has using the date time of the today that we will going to use right there, and it will going to fetch that particular student id from that all of its data and fetch one of that cursor, and then similar way with the course it will going to happen. Okay, then if no student or course message box dot show error invalid student or course ID. If soon, then it will going to give it, and then the all its data has been going to emitted inside that particular place. And then it will going, if anything has been wrong, then it or he or she has been already enrolled in that particular course, then it will going to show that message, error message, that you can see error student already enrolled. And for the, then if everything is fine, then it will going to just pass out this SQL query that you can see, insert into enrollment and its values and committed, and then a message box will put success message and refresh all of its enrollment part. And then it will going to again go to the deletion part of the particular refocusing, and right there. Okay, so guys, if you have been seeing the some, you have seen the some part had been not there, like searching part and the delete all parts on the, like the some of the like places that you, it has been homework to you guys to do on your own, so that you get the concept on how each and every function actually is working. Okay, so if you guys get the idea on how it will going to actually work, then you can do it on your own. So let's continue the main part, which is how we have defined the course tab. As we have using the course tab frame notebook inside it, and then its background, and we have using the notebook and course tab inside it, and then the Texas courses, and that you can see the its variables has been defined right there, course ID, course name, and instructor with the string variable. Why we have using the string variable? As it is not, if the particular system has a particularly, like some uses the number, some uses the particular way, then he or she, it can be adaptable. If the particular person has been suggesting you it should be in the number, then you can just go up for there. That you can see I have defined the courses list of the entries, and then we have defined again, like we have defined the student part and the parts table and entry and buttons part, that you can see out it's all of its code, that it has the course tab, it has been defined, and its text and text variable, and then its positioning. Okay, and then again the similar way the course tree part, like the like the like the student parts, that you can see its code as the Treeview model has been again used, columns has been as heading, and then using the for loop for enterizing that particular thing, and it will going to just use and refresh that particular everything after the particular task has been done. Okay, as the initial way. And then we have came to a enrollment tab, which is again in a frame, given in a frame of the notebook, and then it will have a notebook with the tab as the enrollments, and then its variables has been right there, you can see had been shown. It has been asking the label and entry of them, and its font and its size has been defined. Okay, and its positioning, that you can see rows equal to 0 and then column as 0, which is I have defined like the tabular format. Okay, it is just in a tabular format. If you guys have any query, then you can just check out on your own how it is actually going to work. Okay, experimenting on that particular data, then you can just check out. It is so easy to understand. Okay, if you have any query, then you can just check out the comment section or just comment me out, or you can just go to my own GitHub, and then we have defined the button enrollment and deletion part, and then its styling, and then its positioning, and we have defined the particularly it's in a Treeview part that you can see right there. Okay, then you can see how it has been actually working, that it has already an ID as like that. I will going to just update it up, and you can see, for example, like this. I have updated it, and then it has been updated out like this way. It has shown a successful message right here. If doesn't update it selection, then this message, then again this message, and let me add some entries for the particular result, how it's all of its functioning has been done, and add it. Success message has been shown. I have going to delete all of this part for sake of fun, and then add it again, another entry for the particular uses. Okay, and then we go to our enrollment part, which will going to fetch the student ID and the course ID, that we need to just use the particularly course ID that you can see 1223 right there, and for the student ID that 12. Okay, we will going to use the 12, and right click the enroll, and you can see it has shown the successful message right there, and it's all of its data has been, if the anything has been wrong, then it will going to show an error like you can see. I have shown an example right there. Okay, and for the deletion I have deleted right there again. Okay, it has been deleted out. Okay, and then the 12, we will going to enter out the 12, and it has been enrolled right there. And you can see I had been showing you how its own statistics has been actually working out. So let's see how. Let me just click it. Okay, you can see out I have shown its statistics like that. I will going to OK out, and its bar chart has been came student per courses as this, as it has been having the only data, then it will going to work like that. And let me go to the next part of the code, next part. Okay, which will going to show you how its own report part has been actually done. Okay, right here you can check out, see it how it has been actually working. Okay, right here I have added a now show status. It has been the executing the all of its executing the SQL query, which will calculate the total number of students, selecting the from the courses and enrollment part, which is the basically the statistics, all of its parts that you can see. Okay, it has been going to show in a message box, and it has shown the particularly store valued answer that you can see from the GUI. Okay, courses and enrollment, and then you can see how I have defined the backup option for the database right there. I have named the database name as backup student course that you have seen before, and then the slitting dot copy file student course dot backup, and then the I have gone to the right here. You can see I have been explaining how it has been actually working. Slit module for the backupping particular format, and then we have go to our next part, which is important for your own understanding how it has been actually been using the particular selecting and bringing on the values from there. Okay, so right there we have executed an SQL command and select from the course sys table. We have collected the course name and its count, particular student ID, and then you can see we have used on the left join on the enrollment, E on C course ID, and then the enrollment course ID, and group them by the course name, which will going to create a particular data for the particular bar chart we have seen before. Okay, and it has been the some error handling that you can see. If the particularly data has been not present, then it will going to show out like that. And right here we have defined the XY coordinate as courses and counts. We will going to zip that particular data and use plot figure size as 10x by 6 that you can see here. Plot bar, then we have executed with the color as there, and the x coordinate, y coordinate, title box, and xticle of the rotation and side of that particular way. Okay, and you can see okay, right here you can see I have defined, and then we have packed that particular thing on the tight layout so that it will going to execute in the Python, and we have shown it out, which usually say to do it in the reports part of the Jupyter libraries, notebooks, or the data sciences usually done. And then we have came to our report tab frame, and then we have again created a tab right there, reports and backup, and then we have using in a for loop for the buttons that we have right there. Okay, that you can see right here. Okay, backup part, and then plot students per course. It has been using the text button tags and command which had defined, and style them with the style we had defined before. And at last we have came to our last part, which is the last function, def on close that particular part, and if it has been closed, then it will going to run in a backup database function, and GUI will be destroyed out, and it will going to just use in a protocol that you can see for the lead the window. And at the start, if for the starting it, we had defined the root.main loop, which will going to start in a particular thing. Okay, so if you guys enjoy it, then you can just check out my own other videos on like that and other things. If you having the other want to see out, then you can check out my own other playlist like HTML, CSS, or JavaScript animation buttons, which is particularly I have made in an open source, and for the particular person, if you want, then you can just go right there. Or thanks for watching. See ya.